and we were able to get kids back in our building today, which was amazing. Very happy to have them back and to have them in front of our teaching staff once again. So with the start of the second, we have another option available to us in hybrid. We have hybrid level 1, which is 1 day a week that we've used so far this year. And now we are prepared for hybrid level 2, which will allow us to bring our students that are in hybrid learning in twice a week. So the thought behind this is that we wanted to keep our hybrid 1, which is a very, very safe model. And we wanted to be able to go to that and have an option available if we see our numbers start increasing, and we could move to a more restrictive, a more safer model and keep our kids in school as long as we can. It is feasible now with the number of students that are in choice distance learning that we can get our students in 2 days a week with just a little bit of finessing and moving some of our kids around a little bit, that we are able to maintain social distancing and a very safe environment with having our kids in 2 days a week. And we have seen so far throughout this year that having our kids in the building yields the best for the students and for our staff. So that's about it for the high school, unless anybody.
Scott.
Hey. Thanks, Scott. No congratulatory tonight. Budget development calendar.
Okay, within your board packets is a copy of the budget development calendar for the 2021-2022 school year budget. It starts with this month with the presentation of the budget calendar, and then also the adoption of the MEA seniority list, and that's really one of the first steps in the budget process, is establishing that. Then we move forward into December, and we will have the truth and taxation hearing, the approval of the audit for fiscal year 20, and the final certification of our levy for 20 payable 21. And then also we'll have the resolution directing the administration to develop recommendations on staffing programs and budgets. And that's the first step we take then in order to make any changes in programming, and if we need to make any budget cuts in the coming year, that's one of the first steps that we take there. For the past 9 or 10 years, that's been really routine. This year, it may not be. This year, we probably will be making recommendations for some budget reductions. If the state's facing a $5 billion deficit, and a lot of that's going to roll back into the schools as well, so we're going to be hit financially there. So we'll be taking a good hard look at that and making those recommendations. So like I said, it's been a long time since we've had to go through and really do that process. And I look for it to be as hard a hit as we took when we last went through that. But I do think that it is going to be, we're going to be seeing some reductions that have to be needed. And we're going to have to eventually start trimming back, and now it has become a reality. Then The calendar itself just goes back on through the steps that are necessary if we are going to have any unrequested leaves of absence, and depending upon where any cuts fall, we may or may not have any. First thing you look at are the people on the seniority list, where they fall, and you typically you will have to reduce the people that are not tenured prior to those that are. Those that are not tenured do not get leave, they get terminated. And then those that are involved in there, and it goes on up through till the end of the year meeting on June 20, where that will be the final time for us to approve our revised budget for the current year and the budget for starting the new year, which begins on July 1st. There are possible times in there for some special meetings to discuss and to, as we're working our way through that. And we do have those meetings scheduled in for each month as we go. As long as we're meeting the timelines, everything will run smoothly. If we fall behind on the times, then we're going to have to catch it back up. Otherwise, you run into the problem that you get down to the end and you have time to make the necessary changes. So it is very essential that not only that we have a calendar in place, but that we follow it.
Any questions on the budget calendar? 2.2, wrestling cooperative. Bob, do you want to talk about that?
Certainly. So this is the 8th year that we've been in a cooperative wrestling program with both Dawson Boyd and Lac-Pearl Valley. Before that, the two of them had been together for a number of years. Our numbers were dwindling fairly rapidly in 2014-15. Well, let's go back further than that. 2011-12, I think we had 17 kids with the forecast of having 14 the next year, and at the time it was 14. So that last year we were on our own. We were getting on the bus, and had we won every match by a pin, we still would, because of the kids that we had. So that was kind of the reasoning for the co-op. In the 8 years, it's been for all three communities, it's been a positive thing. But last spring, there started to be some talk locally here about maybe we, and evidently there was some talk in their two communities as well, because about 3 weeks ago, the three activities directors met, and blindsided because it didn't surprise me a bit, but it was said by those other two communities that they were hearing from their communities that maybe the two of them being together, they're feeling as though their participation has dropped because of the amount of it. Over the last 2 years, we've provided roughly half of the wrestlers in the program. 2 years ago, I believe it was a little over half, and last year was kind of right at half. So the three communities are all kind of feeling, I guess, the same thing. There's no documentation, there's no data that says we'll get more. I think the general consensus is a thought that if we don't have to travel to Dawson, we'll pick up additional wrestlers. If not, they will pick up additional wrestlers, and we'd be able to have two teams. So that's kind of where it came from. And I guess maybe time that we go on our own and see how it goes. It's not like it's a lifelong decision that we can never look at some other options in the future, but it's maybe time to try it back as Montevideo solely. We do need to make a decision fairly quickly would be good. December is fine. because it's a new realignment here at the high school level, and that would allow us to be placed in a section as Montevideo alone. In fact, cause some confusion as to who's in which section and section changes. So if we could make a decision December, maybe even in January, to dissolve the co-op effective next school year would be the best case scenario.
So Bob, the impact would be for 2021, 2022.
21, 22, correct. We're already, it's too late to do it this year. I kind of got to start building a schedule in December. So if I feel that we're in a bit of school, we're moving forward building a schedule for next year. If we want to have anything that makes sense as a schedule.
Sure.
I've heard Darren Baldwin has a lot of free time, so I think he can be our coach next year.
Who's that?
We didn't hear you, Bob.
Well, I've heard that Darren Balkan has a lot of free time on his hands, so maybe he can help coach next year.
I don't think I'm a good wrestler, so.
All right, thanks for the information. Any other questions?
I don't have a question. First reading, Board Bible 3.
And Mr. Huntley can address that.
This is really interesting, and really the reason that this little change came about was basically semantics on how the county interprets the statute. So when we have been meeting with our attendance committees, so we meet with the county and other buildings to discuss our attendance concerns, and we've had quite a few that meet the additional neglect, but as through the county, it didn't. And where it didn't was where they see the number of days that are missed, they see those as full days that a student is unexcused. So, for example, like I had a student that logged into class for attendance for 1 minute and then was marked present, but was gone the whole rest of the day excused. That would not count as an unexcused day. So what we would like to do as far as the language goes is just to make sure that the equivalent equals up to a full day. And then that's how we report it, is full days unexcused. So that would mainly be through grade 6 that we would use that language to report to the county as number of full days. So that for it was just so that in policy, and then the county will use that as part of their measure to file forward. So I know that Bill had talked about a lot of kids missing a lot of half days. And there really was nothing. We had one student, and Bill, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that had missed like 21 afternoons, which if you put those half days together, that's 11 full days of school that were missed unexcused. And it was screened out because they weren't full days. And I don't think that's really the nature of the law. I think the nature of the law is to ensure that students are receiving the education that they deserve. And when we have students that have missed 80 some class periods screened in, that's kind of a concern for me. So if changing our policy to include equivalent days to equal full days is gonna move the needle a little bit to get these families the support that they need, then I think it's a good step to take in that direction. So that's the reason for the sentence or two at the end of the policy. So. Any questions on that? Concerns?
No questions. That's good.
And that was the first reading, so we'll have the second reading next month.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Sean.
Welcome.
3.1, action items. Teacher seniority list. Did everybody have a chance to go through that?
Yes, sir. It's been reviewed by administration, it's been reviewed by staff members, and it would
Seemed
be
fine. Seemed like it was
correct.
okay.
I'll move to approve the teacher seniority list.
Thank you, Andrew.
I'll second.
Thank you, Travis. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Kelly,
Aye.
Travis,
Aye. Aye.
Andrew,
Aye.
and Vulcan's an aye. So, okay. 3.2, final, oh, geez.
So 6 policies that had changes that came about because of changes in the statute, with the exception of the wellness policy, and the changes in there came through our natural internal review of the policy and bringing it up to what the guidelines were on that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Travis. Anyway, Kelly, thanks, Kelly. Any further discussion? If not, hearing none, no roll call vote. Again, Kelly, Travis,
Aye.
Andrew,
Aye.
and Vulcan is an aye. Adopt resolution establishing combined polling places.
Yeah, this has to be done annually, and this are any special elections that we might hold, you can get by within just one polling place. And typically, we have that at the time. Failure to do this means that you have to open all of the polling places, or the poll will typically be open on an election day, and all of a sudden your election becomes much more expensive and
I'll make a motion to adopt that
Thank
resolution.
you, Andrew.
Second.
Thank you, Kelly. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Kelly,
Aye.
Travis,
Aye.
Andrew,
Aye.
Vulcan is an aye. Okay. Ratification of 2020-21 educational assistance. Does anyone want to make a motion to?
Yeah, I'll move to ratify the contract.
Thank you, Travis. Anyone want a second?
Can we get a second?
Thanks, Kelly. Any further discussion? Roll call vote again. Kelly,
Aye.
Travis,
Aye.
Andrew,
Aye.
also. Is that it?
no executive session.
Huh?
No.
All right, skip something.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Travis.
Second.